Today's video is going to be all about contouring. I am going to do half of my face drugstore and then half of my face high-end, just to show you guys that you don't have to splurge $50 on a contouring kit when you can just go to the drugstore and spend $5 and still get the same look. I know when I first started wearing makeup, all I used was drugstore, but since I really am into makeup, I like to use high-end, but you can still get the same look using drugstore. For foundation, I am going to be using the new True Match Lumi Cushion in this shade N3.5. If you don't have this yet, go get it. Make sure you always close it. When I first started getting into makeup, I was like, what the heck is highlighting and contouring? It was like, you know, it was just so confusing. Like, I was like, eyeshadows, you know, foundation, you know, now highlighting, contouring. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna learn any of this. So to make it simple for you, just think of your face as like a canvas. Like, you know, you're drawing a picture of like a face, and it's like shadows and like highlight. You usually want to highlight under the eyes, down the bridge of the nose, on the forehead, and sometimes under the chin. And that's just going to bring light to the face. Now, contouring is adding shade to the face. So where you usually contour is the hollows, the cheeks, the sides of the forehead, down the bridge of the nose, sometimes the jawline, under your chin. As you know, we are going to be doing half of my face drugstore and then half of my face high-end. For the high-end side, I am going to use the NYX HD Concealer in the shade Fair. And I'm just going to highlight under my eye. We are going to make a triangle shape. This is going to bring light to the face. Half of my face, half of my forehead, half of the bridge of the nose, and then half of my chin. Sometimes I like to do up here. My nose tends to get red around the nose, so I'm just going to add a little bit right there. I have two beauty blenders right here. This is the $20 beauty blender. You can get this at Sephora, Macy's, and I don't know about Ulta, but it's $20, and I would definitely purchase this if you haven't already. You need it. It's life changing in your makeup. This is the $6 beauty blender from Real Techniques. It is kind of like the beauty blender. It is the closest tube to the beauty blender, but I would still get this. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use the pointy end. And you just want to tap. You don't want to move. You don't want to do this because it's going to move the product, and you don't want to do that. So we're just going to tap. See how our face already looks fresh and awakened just from highlighting. But this stuff is not necessary for everyday use. You know, you can just put foundation on and just put a little bit of eyeshadow and lip gloss and be ready to go. For highlighting, you always want to make sure you go a couple shades lighter than your foundation. For contouring, you always want to make sure you want to go a few shades darker than your foundation. Now for the high-end side, I am going to use the Smashbox highlighting stick. This is amazing. I like it. And I'm just going to do the exact same thing. When you always use cream products, you always have to make sure you set them with powder so they don't crease. But before we do that, we want to go to the contour. I'm either going to use the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade, I think this is Cafe, or the Maybelline Fit Me stick. I prefer this because I feel like it blends a lot more smoother, but I feel like this gives a lot more natural finish. So these are wait. I don't know. I think I'm going to use this. You can dot it, you can draw a line, you can do whatever you want. You're going to do the hollows of the cheeks. It's usually at the top of your ear, and you're just going to go down about halfway at the top of the end of your eyebrow. You don't want to go too far because you're going to have that really like sharp like structure. Unless you want to do that, that's totally up to you. But I'm just going to go about halfway where the end of my eyebrow ends. And then the end of my forehead, just dot it. Sometimes I like to go at the top of my forehead because I have a really large forehead. For contour, I'm going to take my Smashbox in the shade Contour and do the exact same stuff. On the others, I'm going to do the exact same thing for the high end. My nose. And there we have it. That is the cream portion of contouring and highlighting. When you're working with cream products, you always want to make sure that you set them with powder so they don't crease and move throughout the day. Drugstore, and I am going to use the new Wet n Wild contouring palette. I'm going to take this banana powder. This is kind of like a first impression. This is very yellow. Wow. I'm going to do half of my forehead. Half the nose, and then half the chin. They have other colors. If this banana powder is too yellow for me, I feel like, I don't know, I like it, but it might be too yellow. We'll see. For the high end, I'm going to use the Anastasia contour palette, and It's at the drugstore. High-end. Contour. I'm going to use this ash brown. I don't know what color it is, but this is what I use for the high end. Drugstore. I'm going to go back into that palette that we use. I'm going to pick up that contour shade. Holy moly, that's pigmented. Okay. These powders are pigmented. Okay, my lighting sucks today. I almost did it the other side. Yes, I'm going to use the Airspun loose face powder in this, it's a shade, well, it is a shade, I guess, in the shade Translucent Extra Coverage, and I'm going to set it everywhere because this is going to really help make it not so wow, but that is not the purpose of the video. The purpose of the video is the contouring and highlighting. As you can see, my input aside. Okay, as you can see, the yellow is the highlighting and the darker shades is the contouring, and the darker shade is to help, you know, define our features, and that's all we did. So we're going to set it with powder and until it's gonna look. I'll be right back. As you can see, setting that with powder, translucent powder, helped to make it not look so in your face. This is the drugstore end, and this is the high end. And for some reason, I really like the drugstore end better. You know, sometimes drugstore works just as better. For highlight on the drugstore end, I'm going to use the new Wet n Wild Illuminating palette, and this is in the shade Catwalk Pink. I just picked this up today. So as you can see, this is the drugstore, this is the high end, and they both look very nice. So as you can see, you don't need to splurge a lot of money, you know. You can just use Drugstore and still get the same look. I actually really like the Drugstore. It looks very nice. So yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Hi guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be all about contouring. I am going to do a contouring video on when you want to contour or add shade to the face. You usually want to contour your cheekbones. What are these called? What the heck are these called?